and welcome once again to the Quantum Cafe and the Interstellar Lounge with your host here, the Cosmic Messenger, aka Derek Pennant, light body technician, Reiki master teacher, aura scanning specialist, and metaphysician. You have landed, maybe you've been here before, to a cosmic hub where everything under the multidimensional realms can be explored and talked about, from frequency healing to advanced light codes and anything under the galactic central sun. We got you covered here, especially if you're a starseed, indigo child, luminary, freshly awakened one, and you don't have a place to see all of this information because we don't really get taught it in our educational system, so you have to piece it together unless you have the parental bloodlines, the environmental factors. A lot of the times we are going out and seeking it because we are interested or we have this deep inner knowing. So I'm very grateful that all of you are here and working through this process of becoming the luminary within, understanding more about this plane of existence as well too. I'm going to come on today and talk about two different subjects. The first one is the Phantom Astral Net, and the second one is how recalibrating everything in 3D day-to-day lives, physical body, home life, all the stuff is very, very, very important for moving through these changing quantum quickening times. So, Phantom Astral Net. Wow, let's get started. So, there is, many of you may be aware, some of you maybe not, that there is an inverted matrix that is overlaid on top of the hologram that is Earth when we incarnate into this plane of existence in 3D. And so they're messing with the hologram, taking the entire human experience, everything that we experience, from drinking water to messages that get sent out through advertising, all the things. And they're reselling it back to us in a synthetic, distorted version of its original self, thus creating the inverted codes of the matrix. And then it gets even wilder and deeper because we have the Saturn Moon Matrix beaming in frequencies. Then on top of that, we also have a Phantom Astral Net, which is basically a layer and energy field just outside of Earth's outer atmosphere in the lower fourth dimension. And what it does is it pulls on and entices souls to unawaken during this lifetime and to get trapped between the incarnational realms and the non-incarnational realms. So the more we spend time on this planet, being disconnected from the death and birth processes, we're not talking just being physically there, we're talking about energetically cleansing the room. When we do them in the current forms that we do them in are incredibly distorted. A lot of the times they're done in very toxic scenarios. I respect everybody's pathways. It is whatever you choose to do, create your own reality, but there is an inverted astral phantom net. And as we continue to do all of this stuff, like having these really dark funerals, with carrying the body only and like crying and sobbing, not because we're sad, but like just bringing it and stretching that out to go as many months as long as possible, disconnecting ourselves from the spiritual aspects, doing it in religion-filled churches and these square boxed rooms, and really taking us away from our natural celebration of that life and putting in sacred ceremonies that are ever-changing to help uplift those energies, to help that soul exit out of the body even more and create a crystalline field and a channel through the ley lines so that they can exit out of this plane of existence and come back only if they choose, rather than being enticed to do so. So there's a Phantom Astral Net that catches some of these souls and they get stuck between the incarnational and the spirit realms. And this gets really interesting because as we're working through that process, so many of us are like, I'm honoring my ancestors and I'm calling them through. That's awesome. They work with them in a deep way, the bloodlines. There's so many humans on Earth that are like, no, I just love this plane of existence. Well, the thing is, when you call in all of your ancestors, you need to be careful because some of them haven't made it out of the Phantom Astral Net. I don't think anything's stuck anywhere forever, but it sure makes a complicated mess. And when we call them all in, we're also calling in the unawakened ones. Yes, you gain a lot of clarity once you exit the body and move into the spirit realms, but as your soul lifts up and then exits the body and gets stuck in this net, this netting, what that does is it distorts the frequencies, and you may be calling some of them in to work with you. And it might feel good in the moment during a session, some healing work, a gathering, a ceremony, but in the longer run, it can get very, very intense very quick because then things just don't feel quite right after. there's still this constant, yes, healing's ongoing, but it just feels like it just never really ends on any level. You don't make any progress, get where you need to go, etc., etc. So this phantom astral net in the lower fourth dimension, the fourth dimension has an upper and a lower plane. It was originally connected as one. The Matrix has basically created a bifurcation process within it and separated the two. And so, yeah, there's a lot of energies, frequencies, negative entity attachments that are in there, siphoning this energy and bringing it in there. It is very real. The more souls that exit the body correctly and they go to the freedom, the free will that they want to fully, doesn't mean that it's going to get every single one, but it's enticing that to take place. And the more that we clean up those aspects, then the grip and the size of the phantom astral matrix shrinks as well too, which is pretty interesting. So we do the work and it slowly mutates away. Some fresh reverse osmosis water, which now leads me into my second subject, which is really, really important. Cleaning up everything in 3D matters, and we're talking right down to the basics. For instance, drinking non-tap water when we know it's completely filled with chemicals. We are peeing out medications, throwing weird things down the toilet, trusting an organization to clean up our water somewhere at a water treatment plant, in most places anyways, and we have no idea what they're actually putting in the water and trusting them that it's safe. And the workers there are getting instructions from those above them that everything that they're using is totally 100% safe for the public. It's not at any possible level, especially when you intermix in chemtrails and everything else going on in the soil and the chemicals. It gets very intense. So to take care of this human vessel is very, very important. And if you want to ascend, go through an awakening process and not completely break down, and also have a human vessel that does not fall apart with you at every turn, because everywhere I look, there is so many humans that have a dis-ease at every possible turn. And doing these regular items to clean up our realms matters. You can meditate all day and be in a spiritual vortex, but if you're drinking, chemically filled water and you can't even clean up your home, good that you've done that spiritual work, but now the cleanliness of the home matters. One of the big ones is showing up on time. Yes, time is quantum, and we'll be living with different time signatures. However, we negotiate that with reality in the near future. In the moment, we're using this structure, and it's very challenging for a lot of humans to be early and to show up on time on a regular basis. So that's a key one to work on. Another one is making sure that the water that we drink is pure and chemical free, which would also include the foods that we digest, and putting them into our human vessel matters as well too. What we eat is what we create. What we eat is what we turn into, right? We're going to radiate that from the inside out. Intermediate, like little breaks, they call them fastings, but like even if it's just an extra 8 hours between some meals, outside of sleeping, of course, add a few more to that, your body goes into a detox protocol and starts scrubbing the insides and cleansing out the distorted cells as well too. Fabric on our clothing matters. If we're leaning more into like linens, organic cottons, alpaca, wool, hemp, silk, those kinds of things, we're moving into the higher vibratory realms. But if we go into rayon and lyocell and all the other versions that I don't even know the names for half of them, polyester, all of those carry frequencies that distort our field and cause the potential for us to feel unwell, right? It makes us age quicker, the whole bet. So your fabrics matter that you put on your clothing. So is keeping ourselves cleansed on a regular basis. I have to have a shower every morning at 6 a.m. or I won't be clean. If you get too anal about something, that's not going to bring you into a good direction either. But the idea is that we're staying cleansed and clean on a regular, continuous basis, and that we're washing, doing our laundry, keeping our house cleaned and our portal wonderfully checked, and doing it without chemicals. What you put in that washing machine, if it has any chemicals in it, is affecting the rest of nature, affecting the water channels, and those little particulates, they don't all get cleansed when it goes to the water treatment plant. And Mother Earth can feel this flowing through her veins. And then you wear these clothings, and these chemicals then affect you from that point as well too. So it's really important to make sure that we're keeping things chemical free. Like, all you need is hot water and some vinegar, and you got your house completely clean from top to bottom. Okay? It's about staying on top of our tasks. It's not about overworking ourselves, but we're keeping up with our domestics. These are our current arrangements on planet Earth. We're making sure that our bills are paid as early as possible. We're planning for, creations, events, and things that we're putting together well in advance so that we can show up with crystalline frequencies as well too, and bring those into the fold. What else are we working on? We want to make sure that when we brush our teeth, because what we put into our body affects our teeth, right? I don't know, I respect all humans' choices, but when you see somebody who's drank copious amounts of coffee over a 20, 30-year period, not all humans, but quite a bit of them, you can see it on their teeth. And they get those black lines between the teeth as well too. You add in some junk food into the mix, having some really high quality tobacco here and there, I get it. But if you're utilizing these things on a consistent daily basis, they do build up. Different humans have different thresholds, right? When we take care of this vessel, our hair doesn't fall out as quickly. We're more flexible in our joints, and we're able to have natural energy. So many clients that I work with and humans I interact with, they tell me they don't sleep very well. They're always feeling like they're low in energy. That's because we've been designed to keep things in this synthetic yang frequencies, right, that are not really helping do those day-to-day arrangements as well too. And then also showing up for some of the things that we've made priorities. Yes, things shift once in a while, but it's important to follow through with the things we say we are going to actively do. We put our reality first. We take some time to do some yoga or some stretching in the body or meditating. You don't have to do it every single day, but sometimes you can look back and go, wow, it's been 3 months and I haven't really put any drive into that area. We make sure that we're getting plenty of nature. You can hook up air filters in your home, nice HEPA filters, cleanse the air in there as well too. And we're like cleaning up those third dimensional realities. We're also putting in effort into cooking whole and natural foods as well too, and giving ourselves an opportunity to have breaks from the screens and the type of content that we're digesting as well too. If we want to open up our multi-dimensional fields, then these things have to match with the frequencies that we want to get to, right? If we're eating junk food all day, but then we're meditating for 16 hours, that's good that you're meditating, but the food cancels out some of those frequencies and brings it into different dimensional gateways, right? So that's kind of like they're crisscrossing their hairs together as well too. And here's another one, exercise. I applaud anyone who's got great physical strength and they do power exercises like that too. But you want to mix some cardio. You want to make sure that you're getting something that stretches the body and moves you in ways you wouldn't normally do if you were going to the gym or going for a walk up a hill, things like that. You want to get different types of exercises. Like when somebody plays footbag or they have go cross-country skiing, you're going to use a lot of different parts of your body that you don't normally engage with. And taking care of making sure that we're having time to exercise is very important. You want to exercise yourself physically, then you also want to do it spiritually. And then the basics, like our nervous system, our stress levels, energy, how well we sleep, it helps tremendously. If you go give yourself a full workout on a regular basis with a little bit for your body to recharge, quite often humans sleep a lot more on a regular basis as well too. And then not just like cleaning your home, but keeping it tidy and organized as well too, so that you can locate the things when you need them, making sure that we're not just collecting material realms for the sake of collecting knickknacks, right? Some of us have collections and their investments, I get that sort of thing. But often there's just so many things out and about in our reality that we don't need whatsoever in our homes, and they're just collecting dust. And that needs to be cleansed and moved and organized as well too, right? And then how about taking relaxing baths and soaking ourselves in mineral salts and bringing in some incense and lighting some candles and getting off the screen and reading a book and putting that into the fold as well too, right? Or how about very, very simple things? And I'm going here, this is part of the video. Maybe we're at a point where it's like, my underwear is still good, but it's all starting to get little rips and tears in it. Fair enough, it's your choice, it's your reality. And the elastic band is fraying all over the place. Cool. Sometimes we wait a little bit longer, but sometimes you're like, it's been 3 years. I probably should update that. But I don't know if I have the money and this and that. You put those signals out to the universe and more will come in. You can always create and make more money in those ways. And seeing those things within your place and making sure that they're updated on a semi-regular basis and following through on wanting to present ourselves in our most refined way. But I'm also a big proponent of making sure that we're fully expressing and creating, being creative in the ways that are truly unique to us. Not what society tells us it needs to be, but the refined version of you and your direct soul connection as well too, right? You can put on diffusers in your house and get the essential oils going. You know, if we have animal spirit guides in our realms, we're close with them, we take care of them, we nurture them, companionship, all of those sorts of things. And when possible, you know, we're tending to our gardens and growing food. Sometimes we all have different roles. We don't have to do all of these things, but like once in a while, like I make some clove water and use it as a mouthwash on occasion. Things like that, like just getting engaged and putting your part into the mix as well too. And then the other one is really watching what we digest and what we think, and really going inward to see if that's actually servicing the highest good. There's a lot of humans on this planet, once you start to bring up anything that has to do with emotions, they disconnect, they unplug, they don't want to go there. You know what? It's hot to be in touch with your emotions. That's the new hotness of the 21st century. Getting back in touch with what it really means to be human. At some point in time, it is very humbling for all of us to be able to lay on the ground in the fetal position and be able to cry. I think that's very humbling to go in those kinds of ways as well too. Your bedding, your towels that you use in the house too, that also matters. So if you have high quality bedding that is not made of synthetics, that also assists your sleep as well too. Being mindful of where we lay our heads down, we're not laying below an electrical box, you know, have the Wi-Fi right beside our bed, all of those wonderful features as well too. And then the other one is making sure it's good to go out. Sometimes we like to celebrate, go party, different things. If we are participating in those various realms, and we partake in a few plant spirit medicines along the way, I'll call them, then it's good to periodically take a little bit of a longer pause and allow the body to flush out, recalibrate, and remediate as well too. It is absolutely important. And another one is, I know there's a lot of spray with the chemtrails and all sorts of things going on, but getting copious amounts of sunlight as much as possible. I know some are sensitive to the sunlight, some have like concerns about, you know, acquiring something along the way. I get it, there's variables, but we need as much sunlight to come into our realities as possible. So we're pushing our threshold just a little bit so we can get out there. If we're not putting on toxic sunscreen, we're using all natural products. We're taking off the sunglasses so that our eyes can get the natural signals to let our body know when it needs to produce the right chemicals and hormones inside of our skin to help combat some of the sun rays that come in, plus all the vitamin D. Like, how's this going for us? Like, I know that there's some that are sensitive, but as the majority, if we're going out into the sun, are not going out into the sun, and we're being in offices more, and they're telling us we're going to get the big C word, and all these things are going to occur, and throw on sunglasses, the sun's too bright, and don't ever be out in it too long, and the whole bit. Yeah, you can get sunstroke, things happen, but if you build your tolerance up, you get used to it over time. And to be honest, when you navigate that whole realm, if you really sink into it, what they're telling us to do is causing more issues, and what we did before caused very little, and then there's some subtleties along the way. So it's about diverting the path and seeing that stuff very clearly. And I talk about drinking pure water, but it's also about drinking, getting plenty of fluids and making sure that we're flushing out the body. Doing some detox protocols and stuff like that as well too matters tremendously. Taking off our socks, getting our feet in the soil, all of this will help raise your vibration and increase your extrasensory sensitivities, and then open those key codes, those frequency keys, to unlock your own inner multiverse. So in your day-to-day reality, right? Sometimes we get busy, I get it, can't respond to messages all the time, but you might have a situation where you're like looking at your phone and you're like, I got 150 messages I need to finally respond to, and it's been 8 weeks, right? Get her done, get through that stuff, respond to them. Make sure we're on top of things, because if not, the stuff's just going to build up, it's going to stack up, and then we're going to feel overwhelmed, we can't keep up with things, or we just become possibly unreliable, right? In a lot of ways. Reliability, response ability is very important. And the other one is disconnecting from any organizations that tell you what to believe. Believe has lie in the middle. This is all about you and your connection to the universe and your universal frequencies. When you plug in that way, you're actually a lot more closer connected to the collective than plugging into a single organization that's streamlining something. You get involved with your own inner truth as well too. And one of the big ones for taking care of our realms, right? Our partnerships, you want to take good care of them, take good care of your close friendships, work. You might have some work companions as well too that you get along with, you hang out at work and outside of work. That's all amazing, but make sure you're taking some rest time for you. We're not talking, I just need to sit on the couch every day of the week and just watch Netflix until I wake up. We're talking true rejuvenating rest. This is go, 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 work 2 to 3 jobs a week, keep it up. We need to relax and give ourselves a chance to just be. Thanks for listening, everyone. I appreciate everyone being here. I'll put my contact information at the bottom of the video at the end. If anybody wants to reach out for a session, I do in-person and long distance, as well as teach Reiki certification courses as well too. Thanks for listening to the Multidimensional Transmissions. You got this. Pump yourself up. You can do this. Just keep on going. Everything will improve when you go in that direction. Yeah, some big healing things can come up along the way, but you show up them with a lot more ease. Take care, everyone, and we'll talk to you again soon. Have a beautiful day.